After stealing the War Machine suit and nearly triggering a nuclear war, Frank Castle walks into the bar with no name. While the customers in the bar were chatting, the door creaks with a headless silhouette right behind the door. The lifeless body then falls onto the ground and scares the people in the bar. The Punisher walks in with an attention-catching entrance as he walks past the man he beheaded, ready to disintegrate anyone that comes in his way. A man in the bar tells the rest of the customers to stand their ground and that Frank can take them all at once. But right before he can finish his sentence, the Punisher fries him into a crisp, making him regret his decisions as he screams in pain. The Punisher then continues to blast his way through the bar, bringing chaos. Steeljaw then says that he's going to rip out Frank's teeth as he's hiding behind a table, but he gets told not to go out there. Being the courageous guy that he is, or so he thought he was, he comes out of his hiding spot and ambushes the Punisher. He would then receive a fist straight through his mouth and get his head blasted through, also shooting another person behind. Insane collateral damage. The wounded man then tells Frank that he just wanted a drink and that he can't do what he just did. But the Punisher places his foot on his neck and crushes it while asking his armor if the perimeter is clear. It seems like the coast isn't clear yet and that there is still one more remaining person in the room. Frank would then rip out the service bar, finding the bartender. He pleads for his life, as he says that he just serves drinks, and that it is not a crime. The Punisher would then ask him about the whereabouts of the big guys. The bartender would then point towards a reinforced door, hidden behind some curtains. The Punisher then starts banging on the door, trying to get it open. The villains behind the door are then interrupted from their game of poker and are aware that they can be killed, as Frank is suited up with the War Machine armor. Despite this, Rhino doesn't plan on dying and breaks through the wall that leads to the city's main road. They all try to escape through the breach, and Grizzly tells everyone to get in his car. Bullseye then questions him for driving a delivery van, and Grizzly replies back saying that he's big. Obviously, this isn't the time for jokes, as their lives are in danger. Bullseye tells him to hurry up and go, but it seems like they're too heavy, and that all their weight is slowing them down. Despite everyone in the van being notably large, everyone looks towards Scourge and chooses to kick him out, even though he is the smallest guy in the group. After he gets thrown off the van by Rhino, he looks at them driving away and tells them that he won't forget what they did. But right before he could finish his sentence, he gets cut in half as the Punisher just flies right through him. Not by him, but through him, splitting his upper and lower body in half. Of course, Bullseye would still be making jokes. As the van zooms through the city, Bullseye keeps a lookout behind them and sees Frank catching up. However, as soon as the Punisher is right on their tail, he gets blasted from above by something, causing the van to escape. Frank then asks his armor what just happened, and it states the obvious by saying that something hit them. We then see that it was Captain Marvel that blasted him down. She then tells the Punisher to take off the suit as she flies towards him, looking like she's ready to take him out. The Punisher then congratulates her for letting the wanted criminals escape, but Captain Marvel isn't having any of it and tells him to take off the suit, or else she'll do it herself. However, despite her threat, Frank tells her that he can't do what she's asking him, but it seems like she was already expecting that answer from him. She then attacks and blasts him towards a truck, putting the Punisher on his knees. Frank then says he doesn't have any time for any of this. Frank then tells his armor that Captain Marvel is one who can take a lot of damage, but their goal isn't to kill her. Captain Marvel would then question him, asking if he really thinks that he is one of the good guys. The suit would then sustain a lot of damage, suggesting that Frank retreats. As the Punisher flies up, Captain Marvel chases after him, making the Punisher realize that she really wants a fight, and so he fights back. As they blast each other in the air in the middle of the city, the other heroes watch them from below, with Spider-Man even saying that this is bad. Captain Marvel tells him that the first smart thing Frank has done was leaving the country, but he ruined it by having to come back and be him again. The Punisher then reasons out that he was cleaning up the city, while she was just joyriding in flight simulators. Captain Marvel would then sarcastically call him righteous, asking him if he was this righteous while he was murdering people for Hydra. She asks if he thought that they would all forget. They fought for the planet when the fascists took over, but Frank couldn't fall in line behind them quick enough. As she is enraged, she asks Frank why he doesn't have an answer. but Frank answers back with a missile to the face, buying him some time. Their bodies go falling back down towards the city, and the Punisher lands on a car. He confirms with his armor if she is down, but it seems like Captain Marvel is getting up, and they don't know what else they have up their sleeve to throw at her. With the suit boosters available to withdraw, it would be a bad idea, as they would just be seen in the air with Captain Marvel catching up due to having superior speed. Frank planned on laying low for a while to see if she would leave, but he gets greeted by another friend of his. Daredevil tells him that a lot of angry people are looking for him, but Frank replies saying that there always are. Daredevil reasons with him, saying that it's different this time, as he has crossed lines he has never crossed before as he worked for Hydra. Frank saw it as an opportunity and took them. With Daredevil lecturing him about how they can't just move past what he did, Frank gets notified that Captain Marvel has just left the area. The Punisher then thanks him for the speech and tells him that he has to go. However, Daredevil isn't going to let him walk away that easily, and Frank warns him that he doesn't want to do this. But Daredevil throws one of his billy clubs onto his head, saying that he does. Frank then tells him that he doesn't get it, and they're not in the same league anymore. With Daredevil not backing down, he gets blasted onto the side of a dumpster and tells him that it's over as he flies away. As he's soaring through the city, Hawkeye communicates with Nick Fury that he has eyes on Frank. Fury then orders him to take the shot, and Hawkeye asks him if anyone has ever told him how annoying he is, but nobody has ever said that to him in his face. Nick Fury asks him if he hit Frank, and it would seem so as the arrow pierces through the armor. Hawkeye confirms confidently, but he gets blasted by Frank and gets his pizza stolen. Hawkeye would then just squat on the floor, disappointed as his pizza was taken. He would then tell Fury to kick his butt when they find him. As the Punisher goes back to his place to lay low, he asks his suit how the arrow managed to get stuck, and it seems like Clint was able to study the design. Frank then tells the armor to run self-diagnostics, revealing that the arrow was a tracking device. Frank was just starting to like the place, but gets greeted by Captain Marvel and the rest of the gang. They don't seem to be there for a fun time. He gets called out from outside of the safe house. He then suits up and destroys the map, telling them that he is on his way. As he opens the door and gets out, Captain Marvel asks him if he came out to surrender, but the Punisher says that he didn't. This would then seem like the expected answer coming from a man like Frank. The Punisher then throws a flashbang at the group of heroes, and Captain Marvel charges toward him, saying that this isn't a battle he can win. But Frank is used to it and counters her, allowing her to crash into a brick wall. Spider-Man and US Agent then come to the scene, with Spider-Man entering the battle with some jokes. As he shoots his web towards the armor, it gets used as a lasso and Spider-Man gets thrown onto Beast after knocking down US Agent. The rest of the heroes then swarm him, but it doesn't seem to be enough as even Falcon wouldn't be able to stop him. However, Cannonball crashes into Frank as he is conversing with Falcon. As Frank gets up from the ground, he is surrounded by tanks. Despite his blasts not affecting the thing, he decides to fly through him instead. However, it seems like it was a bad idea as he gets squeezed tight. Frank then fires his Gatling gun towards the thing's face, allowing him to be set free. After escaping the thing's bear hug, Luke Cage tries to ambush him from behind, but Frank ignores him, even after being bopped in the head, and continues to beat down the thing. Ben then tells him to get him off of him. He then gets pulled away by Hercules and Luke. However, they get blasted and burnt away from the Punisher's armor. Luke tells him that his weapons aren't doing anything, and he knows when to quit. He tells them that he doesn't, but Captain Marvel replies back with the same thing and attacks him from behind. Frank crashes into a wall and the heroes go towards the hole in the wall. Captain Marvel doesn't want to take any chances and orders everyone to watch the possible exits, but as soon as she gives the order, a huge explosion occurs. Hercules would find Spider-Man under some debris, and it would seem like the Punisher was able to escape after causing an explosion. Captain Marvel then gets called out to check something out, which seems to be an access hatch for the subway tunnels. Frank could be anywhere at that very moment. He's already deep in the subway, making his escape through a moving train. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.